Anụ bụ ụzọ na-aṅụ mmiri ọma. Hello, Usekwu Foods. Aren't I handsome? Yay! Anyị abịakwala n'ụbọchị ọzọ anyị na-akparịta ụka n'ama egwuregwu ndị na-asụ Igbo. All right. Ndewonu. Okay. O kwere n'ihe anyị ji nwanyị eme ya. Hey, all right. Anyị chere ndị YouTube. Mara ma ha ga-abata. Adaeze Dunya, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's good to have you in class. Okay. All right. Ka anyị gwanụ ndị na-abịaba ebe a n'oge erugo ka anyị nabata ha. Let us share and invite people. Let us bring them in. Bring them in. Encourage them to tap on the screen for us. Ana m anabata mmadụ niile. Everybody, I welcome you. While you join, start tapping for us on the screen, and please go ahead and share. Ndewo. Love, ndewo. Adaeze Dunya, ndewo. Ya dịrị gị na mma. May it be well with you. That's how we say it. Ndewo. Ihe ọmụmụ anyị bụ n'asụsụ Igbo, mana anyị na-asụkwa Bekee. Love, ndewo. I want to understand what you wrote. Is it say or I say? Love. What did you write, or what did you intend to write? Right. Our class is in Igbo. Love, see what Usekwu Food wrote. I don't know if that's what you wanted to write. We are here to learn Igbo, but we also speak English to accommodate everybody that is interested in learning. Our beloved sister Adaeze Dunya is learning from Serbia, and she's here almost every week. And that is a huge encouragement for us. So, if you are learning from outside of Igbo land, outside of Africa, you are most regarded. You are highly regarded in this environment. And Adaeze Dunya Civic is a huge, exemplary person. Maximilian Kedo, you came to my class for the first time yesterday. It's good to have you here as well. You are welcome, Maximilian. Ụmụafọ Igbo niile ana m anabata unu. Those who are lovers, friends of Igbo language, Igbo people, I welcome you. Thank you, Maximilian. I so very much welcome you. Thank you so much, all of you. Here we are here to enculturate ourselves. Thank you. Fortunate to be born in Igbo land, and you acquired Igbo language while you were growing up. clap for yourself. But you were not born in Igbo land. You could not acquire Igbo language as you were growing up. This is why we're here. Your hope is not lost. We're here to give you back that identity, that linguistic power that you may have missed growing up as a result of where you were born and the circumstances that surround your growing up that may have denied you that opportunity of acquiring Igbo as you were growing up. Ya mere anyị ji na-eji ihe ọmụmụ anyị ebe a kpọrọ ihe. We are serious about this because we know the problem facing us all. Facing us all because the more we have Igbo people, Igbo young men and women born outside of the land who do not have the opportunity of acquiring Igbo while they are growing up, the more we are losing our linguistic heritage. We are also losing our cultural heritage. You see why it is important to all of us. So, gị nwa na-asụ asụ nwere ihe ị ga-amụta na klaasị a ga-enyere gị aka isukwu ma kụzikwara ndị ọzọ karịchasịa ka esi ede. You that do not know much to speak, you have so much to learn so that you can boldly profess, confess, and emphasize your Igbo identity. And for those that are affiliated to Igbo by marriage, by friendship, by work relationship that made you develop the love for our linguistic heritage, you are here to encourage us. So please do not think that your presence here is by any means insignificant. You are here to be our motivator. So all of us, let's join hands and promote this class. Do that by improving the algorithm that that is associated with the class. Ndewonu, you're all welcome. We are just starting, and I'm welcoming you by making this opening remark. Do two things for us. Number one, keep tapping on the screen to improve the algorithm so that more people will join. Number two, share this content, share this class with your contacts. Some of you are friends with Igbo children growing up. A lot of you are living in the United States and Canada and the UK or other European countries. You have Igbo friends and you think that they would benefit from this class. Bring them here. Right. The third is to participate in the conversation. We are learning Igbo language and we're dealing with the grammar. The aspect of the grammar we are looking at is a simple one. The sentence structure, right? A very simple one. Kedu ka ihe anyị na-ekwu n'ọnụ Que se dea. How do we write what we are saying? Amigos own, Kedo, you are welcome to the class. I believe this is your first time, and I welcome you specially. Some of you, I'm seeing that I can't pronounce your TikTok names. Don't be offended if I did not mention you. Irene, you are welcome. Emma25, you are welcome. Ana m anabata mmadụ niile. All right, Ami, kedu ihe bụ aha Igbo gị? Is it Amarachi? Is it, yes, mostly Amara, right? Ndewo, Ami. Daalụkwa. Daalụkwa. Chiamaka, okay. Nke a bụ mbụ ịhụ onye na-aza Chiamaka, wepụ chi nọ n'ime ya, were Ami. Hapụ Amaka, were Ami. Ikoma, daalụ o, ndewo. Tal Ikoma, that should be your first time in the class as well. Ikoma na manabata gị o, ndewo. You are all welcome. Gigi, you're welcome. Anyway, Chiamaka, your selection of the selection of your name, the short form of your name is unique. So there. All right, let's all join hands to promote the program. Please, let's keep tapping to improve the algorithm. Let people know we're here. We started. Pico, you are welcome. There. Ị bụrụ nwa afọ Igbo nọ n'ala Igbo, toro n'ala Igbo, ị gaghị ama ihe ụmụafọ Igbo na-eto na mba na-ahụ. Eziokwu ka m ga-agwa gị. Ọtụtụ n'ime ha na-achọ ụzọ ịmụta, ma ha amaghị. Igbo sị na ntukwu na ha agụla ngwere, mana ọdụ ya ekweghị ya. If you know this proverb that I said, I would like you to say what it means. It is not everybody here that would understand that level of language that I used, but it is our intention to make everybody here be able to understand that level of language that I used. Ntuku na ha agụla ngwere, mana ọdụ ekweghị ya. All right, Mr. International, how are you? Kedu? Ndewo. Right. So, in the recent time, we start our class by writing the dates of the day. I would like to know who knows that proverb. Butterfly, how are you? Kedu? Ndewo. Butterfly. Ị na-efe butterfly. All right. So we start by writing today's date in Igbo. And we're looking at the aspect of Igbo sentences. Des, how are you? Kedu? Kedu ka ị mere? Kedu ka ị dị? Des. All right. Today is the 23rd of the month of March in the year 2026. That is what today is. Toyi B, I see you, you're welcome. Right. So we have abalị iri na atọ n'ọnwa atọ nke afọ puku abụọ iri abụọ na isii. That is how we write today's date in Igbo, and I would like for you to write it down. Otu a ka anyị si ede ụbọchị taa. Beatrice, kedụkwanụ? Uche m dị ya. Ama m na ị na-ahụ ya. Beatrice, ndewo. Jay, how are you? Good to see you. All right. Lachi Log. Or is it Oluchi that is answering that name? Lachi Logs. What is your Igbo name? Okay. Ụmụ akwụkwọ niile ana m anabata unu. Those who have been coming to this class, I know Oluchi. Oluchi kedụkwanụ? Kedu ebe isi anọnyere anyị? All right. So, ana m anabata unu niile. I welcome you all. So, this is how we write our dates. Okay? And I want you to listen as I read it out. Ogbafia ndewo. Taa bụ abalị iri na abụọ. Sorry, sorry. I got it wrong. Taa bụ abalị iri abụọ na atọ abalị iri abụọ na atọ. Where is it? The proverb. I didn't see it though. You know, show here. You know, show now. No, I didn't see. Anyway, you all should look out for the explanation of the proverb. What a salad. Dalu Miss Rizzy. Miss Rizzy. Gine bo aha gị, ezigbo aha gị. No. Ndewo. All right. Abalị iri abụọ na atọ n'ọnwa atọ nke afọ puku abụọ iri abụọ na isii. That is today's date. If you have not written it down, write it down. That's how we say today's date in Igbo. Abalị iri abụọ na atọ. That is the 23rd day of n'ọnwa atọ of the 3rd month nke afọ puku abụọ iri abụọ na isii, in the year 2026. That is how we say today's date in Igbo. And I use that to welcome you all. Ana m eji nke a na-anabata unu niile. Those who are joining the class for the first time, you're welcome. Those who have been coming here every week, this is a class brought to you by Omenka App LLC under the project Igbo Literacy Project, which is a project designed to educate and reinculturate Igbo children and adults, especially those born outside of Igbo land, growing on Igbo land. There were Army God's own. Army, you wrote emailer, but it is wrong. I would like somebody to write emailer correctly so that Army would correct herself. So we are here bringing to you a project that is targeted at young Igbo people growing everywhere in the world except Igbo land. So, Ami, look at Useku Foods' correct writing of emailer and correct yourself. That is the only way, the only correct way to write emailer. And just so you know, that is the reason we're here. The kind of misrepresentation of Igbo that we experience from supposed Igbo speakers. And it happens all the time. I mean, I would still want you to correct your emailer from what Useku Foods wrote, okay? If you're able to get it right today, you won't get it wrong again. You will continue to write the right thing. Certified, Dalo Ndewo, for hurting me. Certified Ndewo. All right. Yes, such a long date, Beatrice. Good. Onye ọbụla kọrọ no Ami aka. Let's clap for Ami. She's gotten it right. Right. Okay. All right. Somebody says on YouTube that that's such a long date. Yeah. So the reason is because we're writing it out in words. And I did not want to write it in figures because it is the same thing. Okay? Because in Igbo right now we're using the English calendar. It is the same thing, but in words it's long, even in English. Ndamuku, Prof. Emejilo Ndewo, thank you for joining the class, sir. Prof. Anamekelekwago. Prof. Anamekelegi Ndewo. All right. So, Umuafibo, that is how we write the dates in words in Igbo. Okay? Right. So, Agajemi Ihichaya, gonna clean it out. Believing you've written it correctly. So, for those of you joining us for the first time, I neba ihazi igbazi ayolu n'ihe gbasara ka esi asụ na ka esi ede Igbo. Eventually, my audience is made up of greater percentage of young Igbo people who want to connect to their cultural identity. But they have limited barriers which is posed by their inability to speak in Igbo fluently. And in fact, to even understand it. Yawa mere aiji hiwe nkuzi a anyị na-akụzi ụbọchị Monday niile. I wish that I could teach this class in Igbo all through, but I can't. I will lose a greater percentage of you. But I am happy to use the two languages, because I am bilingual, and it is a better thing to be bilingual than to be monolingual. And that is why we say, for the young Igbo people born overseas, born outside of Igbo land, why would you reside comfortably in the environment of monolingualism because you speak English? And you say, oh, English is a global language. Why not Igbo? Even if English is a global language, Igbo can be a global language if all of us who are living over the place in the land are able to speak Igbo as much as we speak English. Lion Beauty Empire, such a long, beautiful name. Gịnị bụ ajụjụ gị? Gani hu joya o. Go ahead and put your question. Dalo. All right. Anyone that I cannot answer, my boss, Professor Obiajulu Emejulu, is in class and he will help us answer that. All right. Go ahead and put your question. Okay. So na nkuzi a anyị na-eleba anya ka esi ede asụsụ Igbo. Mana n'ebe o bidoro na ntọala ya, anyị na-eleba anya ka esi asụ. Ebe a anyị na-arịọ ụmụafọ Igbo ka ha mara ka esi asụ n'olu ndị ha na Igbo izugbe. We encourage Igbo people to know how to speak Igbo, to know how to speak their dialect, as well as the standard version of Igbo or the Central Igbo. In the same vein, we encourage Igbo speakers to know how to write in Igbo, standard Igbo. Okay? Lion Beauty, I did not understand your question. Is it a question or a statement? Are you from the Chukwukere family? All right, please put your statement or question correctly, okay? So, because we know we have a huge work at hand, Mwada Sally, do you think that's what she means? Void in there. Void says, hey family, I want to learn. I can speak. Sorry. It says, I want to learn. I understand, but I can't speak. Void, we have people like you here. Okay, Lion B, did you say gwam gwam gwam? Gwam ngugu chukwu kere. All right. So Wanda Sally has corrected your gwam gwam gwam. She wrote it well. There were Paris Femme Noah. Paris Femme. Thank you, Void. Thank you for adding heart to my red cap. Adding a heart to my red cap. Thank you. All right. Lion Beauty, what is your Igbo name? Gini bụ aha Igbo gị? I want to address you that way. It says, gwam 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 ngugu chukwu kere. All right. Kedu onye ma ya? Gịnị bụ ngugu chukwu kere? Okay. Chidimma daalụ o. Ndewo. Thank you. Ifunanya. You see, unu ga-enwecha ezigbote aha Igbo, unu bi ebe unu na-aza ere aha anyị na-ama ka esi akpọ ya. Ị bụrụ nwa afọ Igbo ịbata ebe a, o mee ka anyị mara aha Igbo gị. Okay? Just write your Igbo name. Jaja, my sister, how are you? Jaja, is good to have you in the class. Ndewo o. Right. Okay. So Amarachi Chiamaka says ngugu chukwu kere bụ afọ. Ọzatara ya Adeze duya. Ndewo. Ọzatara ya gwam 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 ngugu chukwu kere. Chiamaka si na ọ bụ afọ. Nwada Sally si na ọ zatara ya. Kụọrọnụ Chiamaka aka. Right, ka anyị kụọrọnụ Chiamaka aka na ọ zatara gwam 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 ahụ nke Ifunanya dere. I believe it's Ifunanya, right? Good. Chiamaka zatara ya. Void. Okay, it was void. Enyinna, ndewo. Enyinna aha mbụ Ihechi Emmanuel Asonye. Now I'm saying my Igbo name to you first. That's my name, okay? Void ndewo. All right. Ya gaziere unu niile. So we are here because we want to learn how to connect back to our cultural identity. The only gateway back to our cultural residence is the language. That's the only gateway. Chimdindo kedo ndewo amam na nke a bụ gị mbụ ịbịaru na class a ịbata ebe a. You are welcome, okay? We welcome you wholeheartedly. It is not in dressing the way I dress. I dress the way I dress to teach Igbo, to complete the requirement. You're welcome, my dear. Right. But this is, to some extent, it could be flamboyant, okay? But I show off because I have completed the other basic requirements. What are those? I know the language. I speak. I understand. Ndididalu O, you're welcome. It's good to have you in the class. Like, I'm so fascinated to have young Igbo people joining this class from across the world. You all are blessed, and this is the right place for you. Okay? Thank you, Chiamaka. So I dress this way to complete the requirement. The basics begins with the language. So this class is channeled towards reaching out to you, the likes of Chiamaka, the likes of Ndidi, the likes of Ifunanya, all of you that are here, that, to my knowledge, are growing up outside of Igbo land, have grown up outside of Igbo land. Some of you that are here who are raising their children outside of Igbo land. You do not know how to handle the issue of enculturating your children. If you do not, and your children will grow up not being enculturated, and they could not enculturate themselves, they have been cut off from their lineage. There are no two ways about it, no pampering of it. Forget that I'm laughing, oh. Just forget, say me, I laugh with you here. The fact remains that if you do not take extra step, ọ bụ na ịgbaghị mbọ ka ị nwee ike ịmụta asụsụ ga-edubata gị ka ị bụrụ ezigbote nwa afọ Igbo. N'ihi na mgbe ị na-ewepụta onwe gị na ịbụ nwa afọ Igbo, o n'ihi gịnị iyi isi agụ maọbụ iyi uwe dịka m yi ebe a, yiri okpu ọbara maọbụ okpu nke dị oji, maọbụ okpu ọbụla maọbụ ihe ọbụla maọbụ aka ndị Igbo na-eyi, ya bụrụ ihe iji bụrụ nwa afọ Igbo, o zughị oke. O zughị oke n'ụzọ ọbụla. Ihe mbụ ị ga-eme bụ gịnị? Asụsụ, knowing the language. You are not able to identify with this through the language. You have a lot to go through. And that is what we are helping you here to do. Ndewo, I see more. Ana m ahụ ụfọdụ mmadụ ndị na-abata na YouTube, but anaghị m ama ndị unu because I don't see your name. Outside of Nnamukwu n'ebe a, Prof. Obiajilo, Emejilo, Beatrice. Who else is here on YouTube? I see some names. And I have a special guest in my class. They're not seeing you. All right. Okay, so let us go ahead and open our hearts and grab this. Now, Igbo nwa Igbo na-abịa ebe a, you don't know Igbo as much, just like those that say, I can understand, I cannot speak, or I want to learn, I cannot speak. I want to say this is the right class for you. This is Igbo Literacy Project designed to, give us that pathway back into our cultural identity. Gossip Giri, gịnị bụ aha Igbo gị? She's asking how about Nsibidi? I don't know what you mean by that question. What about Nsibidi? If you can rephrase your question, it will help me, okay? But you're welcome. What is your Igbo name? Gịnị bụ aha Igbo gị? Gossip Giri. All right. So for the past few weeks, anyị nọ na-eleba anya ka esi ede ahịrịokwu Igbo. Anyị wee na-akọwa ahịrịokwu Igbo site na iji obi maa atụ. Obi gara ahịa, ma ọ bụ Obi jere ahịa, which means Obi went to the market. Okay. We also Adugo ndewo. Adugo aga m akụzinwu Nsibidi. Nsibidi is like an old Igbo hieroglyphic, just like you have the Egyptian hieroglyphic and Old English and all of that. Today we reference Nsibidi just for historical purposes. It does not add a whole lot to today's Igbo we are learning, because I nwere ihe a na-akpọ orthography, which is the ABD or Abichi Igbo. Okay, if you look at here, this end, you will see where we pasted it on our board. That is because this classroom is primarily used for Igbo classes, and many of the times I na be able Igbo. So Nsibidi does not really have any much impact in today's English. We begin the learning of our language by learning the ABC, which is the Igbo orthography, and not the Nsibidi. All right. Okay. So mgbe anyị na-akwu na Obi jere ahịa ma ọ bụ Obi gara ahịa, ihe anyị na-akọwa bụ ihe mkpụrụ okwu ndị a mejupụtara ahịrịokwu a pụtara. What are the significances of of each word that makes up the sentence, and how is a sentence constructed and why? So ụdị ahịrịokwu a, this kind of sentence is called simple sentence. Simple. Ma ọ bụ ahịrị mfe. Okay, simple sentence, ahịrị mfe. Right. So what makes it a simple sentence is because, according to traditional grammar definition, it has a subject and it has what the English calls a finite verb, and it has a complete sense. Three things. O nwere isi ahịrị, nwee ngwa, nghọta ya zuru oke. Simple. O nwere isi ahịrị. Kedu onye bụ isi ahịrị ebe a? Obi, right? Nwee ngwa, gara, nwee nghọta zuru oke. It has a subject, finite verb, and a complete sense in it. Now, in this sentence, we see three words that make up the sentence, right? Three words. Nke mbụ bụ Obi, the person. Nke abụọ bụ ngwa, the action. Nke abụọ bụ the object, the receiver of the action of the person. Now, in as much as I'm able to discuss this across the two languages that I speak, Igbo and English, it does not mean that both Igbo and English have the same structure. Okay? But we are starting with this, and we've been dealing with Obi going to the market, right? That's what we've been dealing with for a while now. And when he went to the market, we now say, "Ọ zụtara akara n'ahịa," which means he, Obi is a man, bought akara at the market. We can say from, right? From as well, the market. Okay. N'ime ahịrị dị otu a, anyị wee hụ na o nwere isi ahịrị, nwee ngwa, nwee nnara, nwee nnapụta. It has a subject, a verb, an object, and a complement. Right? It is still a simple sentence. Thank you, Nechi. Kedo, it's good to have you again in the class. Right. It is still a simple sentence because it has one sense in it, right? And what is the sense? What the subject did. But here, where? So what Obi did, the action of Obi, what did he do? He bought akara. From where? The market. Okay. Now, what I have been trying to let my students know, all of you that have been coming to this class, is just for you to see how each word is written, the function of those words, who and what are they. Etu esi edepụta ahịrị n'Igbo, and ihe ahịrị ndị ahụ na-arụ, gịnị ka ha wụ? And I'm going to pick them one after the other right now. Again, this will serve a little bit of a flashback, and then we go ahead. Na onye nke na-aza Zadi ewo Soko. Which political party? Yes, our YouTube account is Omenka app. I'm a first-gen Nigerian American trying to learn to speak and read Igbo. Thank you. Chichi, right? That's your name. Chichi, gini bụ ezigbo aha gị? This is a class for you. I will tell you right now, from what I'm seeing, without looking at the algorithm, I think 90% of those listening to me are first generation or second generation American Igbo. So you are not alone, okay? Right. Our YouTube is Omenka app. And I forgot to let us know that we have an app called Omenka. Great. So download Omenka app, okay? Right. Pana Soul says she has the app. And you see, all your first generations are here telling you, Ndidi is telling you she's first generation as well. So we're here together, okay? Here to learn. And please, while you are learning right now, go ahead and download the app and create an account. You will learn so much more from there. Look at first gens. Man, this is a class of first generation Igbo Americans. Hey, niggas. What's up, man? Don't mind me. All right. So this is why we're here. We know that we all have a huge need, okay, to really learn. And for your boldness, for your courage. I have not started with parents today. Those that come to my class, you know that I give the parents basbos. I don't spare them in any way, because our parents, I mean, it is arguable if we should blame anybody, okay, other than the colonial powers that changed things for us. But some of our parents didn't do well. And some of them are still not doing well today by going extra mile. I'm a linguist. I'm a speech and hearing scientist, and I know so much about language acquisition, the time, the process, and everything. It is part of my huge research. And I know that it's true that there's a time to acquire and a time to learn. If you miss the time to acquire, what you will be doing the rest of your life is what we call intervention. And that in no day is you, just so you know. So what you're doing here is not an easy thing. You are going to be religious about it. If you are a church person, a Christian, you see how we're encouraged to learn the Bible, to know everything about it. That's the application. That's how you're going to apply your learning ability here. Okay? Right. So I encourage you, and don't be shy. Many of us are here. Ọtụtụ n'ime anyị juru ebe a. Ndị na-aghọta ntakịrị, but they want to learn. So start with the Omenka app, download it immediately, and come to this class. We have classes for the younger ones, elementary class, that holds on Zoom every Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You're a parent here and you have a young one, you want them to join that class, it's also free. DM me and I send you the link to get them registered. You join the class on Sunday. But if you think you need additional customized class, then you go to our website and register. And I think I didn't get that one right. Let me write it boldly. I think here is one. Yeah, this was okay. Everybody's seen it. Okay, so if you think you need a customized class that you would pay for, you can go there. Where is your region? Somebody? Texas? That's weird. Okay. Okay. We'll look into it. I think it has something to do with oh my gosh, I got that notification. All right. Before the end of today, we'll resolve that. Okay. Yeah. New Jersey. Okay. If you are not able to download the app right now, please give me a time after the class. I will look into it. I think it has something to do with our membership getting expired. I got that notification this morning, and it will be available before the end of today. All right. Okay. So we are looking at how a sentence in Igbo is structured. That is why we are talking about Ahịrịokwu Igbo, aspects of Igbo sentence. Okay. All right. So you were able to download it. So those that are not able to download it, let me know. Let me know if it's it's a general thing, but somebody in California has it already. Right. Let's focus a little bit on the second sentence. Obi, what Obi did now. Ozutara akara. Okay? Now, we know that Obi is a household name through our brother Obi that is have been trying to become the president of Nigeria. Nigeria no Graham. They said the guy is too fine for the politics of the nation, of the country. Anyway, that one another talk for another day, okay? Right, let's look at this. Abuna aicho ikowa ahirokwa, or is he in English, but is a verb here. Akara, we know what akara means, is a noun, and we also know what ahia means. Market is also a noun. I hope okay, let me not use he again. It's a pronoun and it's a verb. Okay, So for those of you that have been coming to my class, you can remember this structure, what I'm doing. Now, I have not decided to preach any other type of gospel. The reason is because the gospel I've been preaching for the past few months, people have not repented. And that gives me a concern. If I was a preacher mounting the pulpit, and every Sunday I come here, I bring John 3:16, for God so loved the world, and I expect people to repent because he gave his only begotten son, and I still see that people have not repented. In fact, if I decide to preach on that the next Sunday, the other Sunday, I'm not sure I'll be doing the wrong thing. The reason is because it is not about the preaching, it is about the application of what you heard. So for those of you that are here, that have been here for the past 3, 4, 5 months since we started this class, you know that I've been consistent in this. And the reason is this: even in the group of teachers that we created for Ndinkuzi Igbo, those who are teaching Igbo, we're still having a huge problem with people knowing how each word in Igbo sentence works and what is the significance of each word. And that is what we are doing again. This is one of the most beautiful ways to learn a language. And whenever you have a question, let me know. So when we see a sentence like this, mgbe anyị hụrụ ahịrịokwu dị otu a, ọ zụtara akara, anyị wee mara na ọ bụ nọchiaha, a pronoun, right? And because we know it's a pronoun, we know that it has to be written separate from any other word that is following it, right? I did not write this way, or zutara akara. I cannot write it that way. I couldn't have. Okay? That is number one. And then we see that there's a verb here. This verb has undergone a process that you may not have thought about by the time you are using this sentence. Ị gaghị echewe echiche cheta na ngwa n'ebe a enwele ihe ndị gwara ya aka. He may have gone through a process, and that process I'm going to explain. I will bring it back here. Ngwa zutara. And zutara is made up of, if I want to look at it from the syllabic structure, it is which is lo, and is made up of 3 syllables. But that's not the only way I'm looking at it. In fact, that's not even the primary way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from the components of it, and the component of it can be divided into 2. And those 2 are made up of, the first one, zo. Zo is a verb root. Isingwa. No. Sorry. Zota. Zota is a verb root. Zota. And even if somebody might not know that zota is a verb root, because usually most Igbo verb roots are 1 syllable, right? But we have those that are 2 syllables. Sometimes we'll call them verb stem. So then we have ra as the past marker. All right. Now, as much as I have tried to explain the verb, the components for you, this is not our problem. All learners of Igbo here will bear me witness that if we are looking at this sentence, this is not our problem, right? Of course, speaking Igbo does not expose you to wanting to know how the verb is splitted or how it was formed or made up. But we have treated this in the class extensively, right? So we will ignore the verb. Then we look at the other word. Akara is a noun. Akara no in its natural form, right? If not to tire, nothing. So we know that akara wa akara, and ụfọdụ mgbe o nwere ike akwa beans akara ebido na-eshi, you know. So we know, and that's what Obi zoro. Okay, but let's look at this guy here now. So I have told us that this guy stays separate, first of all. Oh, and look at this guy. If I wipe off all of this and bring this structure here, that will now become something I might do, because this is not a problem. This guy is made up of two word components. And those two word components came together to form one. Na plus ahia. So what is na? What is ahia? Prep is what? Preposition. And noun. So the language has it that primarily, because we have a here and a here, for these two guys to come together, something will happen. That means something might be lost. Okay? But that's also not our primary problem. For those of you that are learning to understand Igbo, you know that when you hear somebody say that they want to read, they want to learn how to read, in addition to learning to speak, which of course, if you just learn how to speak, you need to know how to read and then how to write. So that is why we're doing what we're doing. I'm going to clean this guy. We know where we started from. I'll bring him back. We know he went to the market, of course. Now, also Tarakara. Igbo has it this way, and this way. I believe preposition, conjunction, and auxiliary verb. So many people that speak and write Igbo have a problem with this guy, and it breaks our hearts many of the times when we see even so-called professors, so-called, that even make a mess of this. And one of it is what we're seeing here now, which is na as a preposition. What happens is that the a is lost when the preposition is coming before a word that begins with a vowel. Okay? Ọ bụrụ na abịa n'ihu okwu nke bidoro na ụda ume, a nọ n'ime ya ga-ebu ụzọ dapụgodo, etinye ya akara elu. All right. It is going to be wrong if I have written this in any other way. This in any other way than the way I have written it. And such examples like we have seen often people write is this way. N'ahịa. n'ahịa, n'ahịa. Anything that I wrote that is not this is wrong, wrong, and wrong. Now, the problem we have is that in Igbo language, on a daily basis, any of this occurs. How people write Igbo. Okay? Any of this comes into play. But this is the only correct one. N'ahịa. And the reason is because in this sentence, where Obi bought the akara from is indicating a preposition. And the only way to represent the preposition is by putting the apostrophe. All right. Ana m anabata mmadụ niile. All of you that are joining right now, Ada Ndewo, thanks for the heart. Thanks for encouraging us here. Those of you that are tapping on the screen, I salute you. Thank you. And those that are sharing this live, please, if you know that what we're doing here is important, not just to you, but important for the promotion of Igbo language, you are not supposed to be told to encourage us to add to the support that this class needs. And you know what to do if you are a user of TikTok or YouTube, if you are live here. All it takes you is to tap on the screen for this program's algorithm to improve. All it takes you is to share. If you have gift and it touches your heart to give, glory be to God. But we are emphasizing on ensuring that as many young Igbo people as would need this class should know about it. This is one place to be at this time. And we have this class every Monday. Ndewo, Zoe Beauty Empire. Gịnị bụ aha Igbo gị? Ndewo, gịnị bụ aha Igbo gị? Every Monday we're here at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And Sundays, some Sundays we might miss it because of some of the programs we have. But Sundays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we are here as well. My Sunday class currently, Monomazi na-agụ akwụkwọ Igbo. You need to be in that class. So fun. Anyị na-eji akwụkwọ Igbo akọwa ihe ndị gbasara ala Igbo. We use the Igbo textbook to explain the Igbo concepts. All right, you are a Cameroonian by birth, Nigerian by choice. I like that. So when you mean Nigerian, do you mean Igbo? Do you identify as Igbo? All right. So we encourage you to encourage what we're doing here to ensure that many more, thank you then for identifying as Igbo. And this is one place you can really learn. Okay. Thanks for being in the class. All right. Please do well by sharing this live. Do well by tapping on the screen for us and improve the face of this class online. Ọtụtụ ụmụafọ Igbo, they are dying to see a good resource where they can learn how to speak and how to write. If you do not have Omenka app already, please go ahead and download it, and it will help you to set you on the go. If you have a young person in elementary, you can register them free of charge for our class that goes on Sundays only, and is only also on Zoom. We do not come live because of the age of the children. And so if you are an adult that comes to this class, for the sake of you not being able to learn Igbo while you are growing up, this is the right place. From time to time, I talk about other contents that people create. That is not to criticize people, but I have seen so much online that break my heart. that I talk about most of the time. Sometimes I bring it out for people to discuss. Chizzy, I really have missed you in this class. Chizzy, letness ademma. And Isorogo and Nemebirim register. Chizzy, where have you been? Like Chizzy, where on earth have you been? Ndewo, you're welcome. All right. Thank you, Zoe Beauty Empire. Thank you. However, I'm looking here now. Now my wife do more. Don't mind me. Now she do All right. Okay. So if you have a question, please ask. And while we're continuing to look at the sentence that is on the board. Lateness bụ ịbịa n'azụ oge. Chizzy. Ịbịa n'azụ oge. Lateness. To come late is to come n'azụ oge. Okay. All right. So in the sentence again, ihe ọzọ anyị ga-elebazi anya bụ isi ahịrị, or why must it be written apart? That's where we have a problem, because I'm not dealing with these two yet until we get to arrive at a sentence that contains those, and I'm going to talk about them again. Why must this be written apart? The only answer and the right answer is this guy is representing the name of a person. And you all know that we don't write the name of a person together with any other word in a sentence, right? We write it separate. Obi is an Obi, and Obi does not collocate with another word. All right, so when we now have or O that represents it, we are going to write it apart. This will take me back to something that many of you that are joining the class are new would so much like. Let me see if I have enough space to put this, that you all will see how you are seeing my board. Okay, let me clean this. One other thing that confuses Igbo learners is often the use of O and O. Oh my God. I do see ana m ahụ ya ọtụtụ mgbe ndị mmadụ na-ede ihe. Okay. Ha chọrọ ide O, ha ede O. Ha chọrọ ide O, ha ede O. Ọ na-agbagwoju anya when you really do not know where one should go to or should fall in. I know that a person like Jaja can teach you now this that I'm about to talk about again. Okay? Ndewo, tailor-made champ. Gịnị bụ aha Igbo gị? Ndewo, daalụ o. Mee ka anyị mara aha gị. Okay? All right. So, in Igbo language, we have what we call vowel harmony. Nke ndị Igbo na-akpọ ndakọrịta ụda ume. Ndakọrịta ụda ume. The Igbo vowels on the Abichi Chukwudi Excellence. Nnam Excellence ọwa aha nna gị ka ọ bụ aha nke gị? Aha nna gị ọ Chukwudi? Ndewo. Right. Ndakọrịta, mmadụ nlekwuo ya, ndakọrịta ụda ume. Ndakọrịta ụda ume. Ụda ume is vowel. Ndakọrịta is harmony. Right. And that concept comes from the fact that Igbo vowels, 8 of them, are classified according to their type, their like. Okay? Tailor-made champ, you wanted to write no. Can somebody write no for him, please, or her? Vowel assimilation dị iche nam. the Golden Classic Trade Fair. Nsogbu. Thank you, Warmax TV, for writing no. Ideziri ya ndewo o. Okay. The golden. Can you look at what Warmax TV wrote? Licious also wrote it. Warmax TV, I'm not business name. Gịnị bụ ezigbo aha gị nna m? Ndewo, daalụ. All right. Theophilus, daalụ. So, ndakọrịta udume is vowel harmony, not assimilation. Assimilation is a different thing, which we have also discussed in the class. All right, Chagozie Awama. Gịnị bụ ihe aha nna gị pụtara? All right, so if you don't know how to use Igbo punctuation, if you're using a smartphone, if it is a Samsung phone, all you need to do is to press and hold the letter. If it is O, press and hold it, all will come out. You use that. If it is an iPhone, there is a globe that will show on the lower side of your keyboard. If you tap on that globe, it changes to Igbo. But I think you're gonna have to add Igbo first or something. I don't know. If you're using a computer, there's a way to add Igbo language to your setting. And when you want to write Igbo, you press the right Alt. Thank you, Corey. And then you tap O, and it will show O and the same. But for phone, it's very, very easy. Okay. All right. Chiagozie Agamachi Mata Ihe aha nna gị pụtara is not a common name. Because we are documenting Igbo names, Igbo last names. Corey Ndewo, thank you. And in our documentation, we are focusing on the last names that are going away. I dedicated one class here talking about our last names, and I shared the meaning of my last name. I shared the meaning of my father's name and how our last names are gradually, leaving us. All right, YouTube people, please, I'm watching. If you have questions, I would like to take your questions. All right. Yeah, so the Golden Classic, I'm not sure you've told us your Igbo name. Please let us know, and then if you can apply the process. All right, let's go back to the vowel harmony. Then we have what we call Odamfe. Oda, Aro, some will say Aaron. I mean, it's all correct. Okay. 2 classes. I'm teaching every Igbo young person that missed the early exposure to Igbo language because they are born outside of Igbo land, and they want to reconnect with their cultural identity through the language. I'm also teaching every person who is not Igbo, who is affiliated by Igbo by any means, but is an adult that wants to begin to learn Igbo. Then my class also touches those who are currently teaching Igbo, but they do not know how to represent it so many of the times in writing. We have another class for young children, beginners, young children. It is free. It happens on Sundays only. Corey, I hope that answers your question. All right. Ndewo, Corey. So under that, we have A, we have E, we have O, and we have O. Then we have A, E, O, and U. And the language helps us to select from these 2 categories. What that means is that because I want to write Obi, representing him with a pronoun. Mary dalu pana so bantu gịnwa bụ Mary. Ọ bụ ezigbota ogologo aha ka ị zara ebe ahụ. And I hope Nima about the Bantu migration. And I also know that you know that Igbo was one of those that made up the Bantu migration, that Igbo people and Igbo language, Igbo culture are all part of the Bantu migration that, converted into a huge mass movement of people into the Western world, even before the transatlantic slave trade and the migration that happened around Africa and before colonialism started separating African countries. So this is a little bit of a history. And why I had to pause to say this history because of your name, Bantu, is because in addition to learning and understanding how Igbo language works, so many of us are very empty in terms of the history, the real history of Igbo. And I encourage us, dig out good content, resources. Some of them we create. I was talking about resources the other time. I am very reserved in directing people to resources of people that teach Igbo online, because a good number of them break my heart. Okay. Blue J 1977, what you have on the board doesn't make sense. Can you provide an English language translation? Blue J, I am not obliged to provide English translation, and if I don't, it does not mean that it does not make sense. If it does not make sense to you, it makes sense to a good number of us who want to learn our language, okay? Because we are Igbo. We must not translate everything we have in English to make it make sense, because Igbo language is a language on its own. We happen to be bilingual by accident through colonialism. Whether it's a good or bad thing today is arguable. But from where I am standing, it has done more harm to us than good. And that is why we are treating the topic we are treating here, okay? But if you want me to translate what I wrote in English, there would have been a better way to say it than to say it does not make sense, okay? Right. So I'm trying to do that from time to time, but not obliged. But I try to speak a lot of English, which some of my ancestors frown at, that I'm speaking English while I'm supposed to be speaking Igbo. Okay? All right. Okay. Exactly. Taylor Medchamp. Right. All right. So, ndakorita na-enyere anyị aka. It helps us to select a particular vowel from a group because of the presence of the same vowel group that is in the word that is following. I'm trying to say this in a way that everybody will understand at the same time, but just bear with me. I will explain another way. Because we have zotara as a verb we'll be dealing with, and zotara has O in it, it is going to be almost always the occurrence that we're going to choose O in place of O. That is one thing. Thank you. Pana, what's your Igbo name again? You said it, I just forgot. Forgive me. All right. O, Zo. Look at the guy we're looking at here. And then if you also look at the Zotara, you find out that Zo, A, They are all coming from the same group. I'm saying this for those that get confused when they want to write Mary Curry. Okay. For those that get confused, like, why did we write O instead of O? Number one, I have said it must be written separate because it's a noun representative, right? It is representing a noun. But number two, it must respect the co-occurrence of the verb that is in the word that is following that pronoun. Oh, English. All right. So most of the times it must follow this procedure or process. Now, sometimes you might have where you selected a verb from here and another one comes here. Yes, I don't want to talk about those occurrences now. But the natural occurrence is that we see that Obi, who is now or as a pronoun, went to the market and ozutara akara n'ahịa. He bought akara in the market. And we have seen how we must write n'ahịa. It cannot be written this way. It must be written this way. Okay? And because it has to be written that way, we follow that. Somebody is asking, Eji asụsụ bekee akụzi Igbo? This is one of my ancestors that I'm telling you people about that frown at me for speaking English in my class. Tosmando Moses, gịnị wa ezigbote aha gị nna m? And ọzịza ajụjụ gị bụ na klaasị a anyị ji asụsụ bekee akụzi Igbo n'ihi gịnị? Ọtụtụ ndị na-amụ ihe ebe a bụ ụmụafọ Igbo na-anaghị anụ Igbo. Ha na-anụ, ha anaghị aghọtacha. Ọ bụrụ na ị nwee ndị dị otu a na klaasị gị mana ị chọrọ ka ha mụta Igbo, kedu ihe ị ga-eme? That is it. I am a teacher by training. Ndewo. And I believe nke a bụ gị mbụ isonye anyị na klaasị anyị. Ụmụnne gị, ụmụnna gị n'ebe a, ọtụtụ n'ime ha bụ ndị na-eto na mba. Ha amụta Igbo dịka ha na-eto. Ha nwere mmasị. Good. Ha nwere uchu. Ha na-abịa ebe a izu niile, Monday niile, dịka ị na-ahụ anyị taa. All maka ha nwa mere iji hụ anyị because they hear and they've been, promoting this class. Okay? Is it bad learning to guess what Igbo words mean when you hear them in conversation or read them? No, Angel, gịnị bụ aha Igbo gị? Rather than having a full understanding. So, Angel, I would say when you are doing intervention, Onyinyechi, okay, when you are in the process of the intervention we are explaining, you can apply whatever method that applies to the situation you are in. If guessing helps you to understand, yes. If you understand at that particular moment and you apply guessing in another situation, it doesn't work. Now go ahead and try to understand the entire concept. Professional fainter, oh boy. Afraid they catch me now. Professional fainter, how you dey faint? Did they pay you? Professional fainter, because ndewo. And I na-ede ndewo, I na-etinyere ya abụọ. TikTok ga-arapụta mmadụ. All right. We welcome you, Professional Fainter. Make Aimara Hibogi. It will help us to address you well. All right. So for that your question, she has a tendency to faint. Because faint line. Because don't faint. Especially now we're learning Igbo, you really need to be here with us so that we'll learn all together, okay? All right. So I appreciate all of you that are really tapping on the screen on TikTok and on YouTube. Beatrice, yeah, please keep helping this class to grow. Today you see Tochukwu is here because the algorithm of the class is improving. Dozier had just joined us. Professional Fenter is here, and we will not in any way allow her to faint. But we're here to really learn, and the purpose is simple. Ọtụtụ n'ime anyị amụrụ anyị n'ala bekee n'ozi bekee. Dozie nsogbu adịghị. Daalụ. Oh, you're welcome. We have so many hundreds of thousands of young Igbo people who are needing every day, hungry and thirsty for the Igbo language. Okay, and if you are in that position, ndewo. Kalista Onoha, Kalista Nwaraha Igbo, we like to address our Igbo names here. Ndewo Kalista. Yeah, a whole lot of first generation Igbo, Nigerian, rather Igbo Americans and all of that. They're all here. NASA Food, you are welcome. Believe you're one of those. And I recognize you. So, and we are looking at how well can we learn to get back into what we missed as we are growing up. How can we inculturate ourselves what our parents failed to do? Some of them is not their fault. I have done, I have sung a song here for you. Some of them, some of the times I had to remix that song. Some of you that are overseas, nobody can tell what parents are going through. It is so hectic to adapt, acclimatize with the new culture that so many parents find themselves when they travel overseas and either start to raise their children there or they even moved with their children. It is a new experience altogether. So many of these parents would have loved to have you, their children, speak Igbo fluently as much as you speak English. But some of them who care less, maybe because they enter Obodo Igbo Yankee, they then enter their head. They forget where they came from. Those are the ones that we say they did not do very well. But the problem is, even the person that would have wished they could have done better, they did not do. And the person who cared less, the result is the same. The result is raising children who have problem getting fully enculturated because they missed the mark while they are growing up. Well, hello there. Ndewo. Gịnị bụ aha gị? African fake pastors. While are they here now? Biko. Nothing we not go see for TikTok. Oh my God. Dalo, you're welcome. I welcome you all. I do want to know you by names, okay? All right. Okay, so we are still looking at what the sentence tells us and how we write it well, okay? And why we should separate the pronoun from the verb and why we should write this. Then I'm going to give you another example of a sentence that is also coming from Obi, the person. We are still dealing with simple sentences. Okay, I've talked about this. I think I need to clean this off as well. All right. Ọ zụtara akara n'ahịa. Ọ zụtara akara n'ahịa. Okay. Ka anyị lee ọmụmaatụ ndị a dị na board. Ndewo ability. Ability, ana m ahụ gị. You're welcome. Ndewo. Well, hello there. I did not see your Igbo name if you are Igbo. All right. Let us look at these examples here. Obi lọtara ahịa n'oge. Obi na Uche soro gaa ahịa. Obi na-aga ahịa ụbọchị niile. Three different sentences that have three distinct meanings. Different meanings. The first one, Obi came back from the market early, or came back early from the market, whichever one that is more correct in English. Fine. The second one now introduces Uche. Obi and Uche went together, went to the market together. Somebody is getting it. Yeah. And the last one, Obi goes to the market every day. And I want to use this sentence now to show us the different uses of na in this sentence or in these sentences. Yeah, you missed that one. Obi goes to the market every day. Beatrice. All right. Okay. I hope you are seeing it all well. It's a little bit clumsy at this moment, but Chiwan Nande, you're welcome. Chiwan, it's good to have you in the class. Right. So in the first one, we are still seeing the example of na working as a preposition in a simple sentence. Gini boro na nima hiria. It is showing preposition. If this, this is no longer preposition, This is now na, functioning as adverbial. Adverbial. That is a function. It is showing us when. When did Obi come back from the market? In time or on time, depending on what the time means to the concept of the talk. I hope English speakers, you know that in time is earlier. On time means right on time. Okay. At least I know that one. Okay. So Obi lọtara ahịa n'oge. Atụrụ anya na ọ ga-alọta, o wee lọta mgbe ahụ. Okay. Adverb of time. Jaja. Ndewo. It is this na that is showing us this. Nothing else, nothing more. And the only way we represent it is with an apostrophe, because oge begins with a verb and obi, the na, is also ending with a oge begins with a vowel and ends in a vowel, right? Noge. So we have noge. We are separating noge here as adverb. Of course, we say of time. Okay? Onye ọbụla dọrọ aka ya na ntị. Hold your ear. That's how they make us to learn. Anytime a teacher or your parent says, hold your ear, okay, it has to be like this. Yes, one has to go, Jaja, because of the two vowels. One has to drop, and we uphold the other. And usually the language has it that the one that drops is the na, that is, the a that is on na. Okay. Noge. Let's look at the second one. Obi na Uchenna soro ga ahịa. Obi went to this market we're talking about with Uchenna. Obi and Uchenna went together. So we have na Uchenna. And then the last, we have Obi na-aga ahịa ụbọchị niile. Na-aga. All right. Why this is a basic Igbo but complex Igbo is because beginners of Igbo language have a problem with it. Those who claim professionals in the language have a problem with it. Those that are teaching Igbo today have a problem with it. Very basic, but complex. What is the formula? The formula is to identify when na, N-A, na, is doing a particular function in a simple sentence. Chetakwa na ihe anyị na-ele bụ kedu ọrụ mkpụrụ okwu niile nọ n'ahịrịokwu a na-arụ. We are looking at ihe ha na-arụ, the function they are performing in a sentence. If you do not understand the function of a word in a sentence in Igbo, you will displace them. You will make a mistake. Even in understanding, you will displace them. Because many of us think in English first, and we transfer the thoughts to Igbo. And when we are doing that, thank you, Tella Mecham. Thank you for the roses. Ọ bụrụ na anyị na-eche uche na Bekee na ọ bụ Oyibo mbụ, anyị wee na-ebufe ya na asụsụ Igbo. Ụfọdụ mgbe ọ naghị enyecha aka. Ọ na-eme ka anyị na-aghọta Igbo dịka asụsụ Bekee si arụ ọrụ. In that case, you are already making a mistake. Okay? So, what we are looking at now is the function of this na that is represented in three different ways in a simple sentence. Simple. The first one, we have seen that it has N apostrophe, the word. N apostrophe, the following word, which is usually a noun. What is the formula for this? Whether it is functioning as a preposition or it is functioning as an adverb, like we're seeing here, the following word is often going to be a noun. Oge means time. And what is it in word category? It is a noun. N'ahịa, ahịa means market and is a noun. So when na is coming before a word that is a noun, which begins with another vowel, you will write it with apostrophe. Na, oge, you remove the a and put apostrophe. N'ahịa, the same format here. So first of all, we know that it is working with a noun there. And because that word is a noun, it also starts with a vowel. Okay? Ọ gara banye n'ụgbọala. Beautiful example from Ability. Ọ gara banye n'ụgbọala. Anyị hụtara ụgbọala ebe ahụ dịka aha. Now, dịka nwanne anyị nwoke Ability, I believe, dere ya, if you write 100 examples, Amaka Liz J, anyị na-akụzi Igbo izugbe, standard Igbo. That's what we're teaching, okay? Igbo izugbe, standard Igbo. All right. Ọ bụ na ide ya n'ụzọ niile dị iche iche, ide ya ugboro ugboro, ide ya narị ugboro, ọ ga na-abụ N apostrophe the noun. So let me now write the formula. Here is n'oge, N apostrophe plus noun. Because na has to lose the a ga-adapụ adapụ. This is a form of assimilation, or sometimes people say deletion. Okay, assimilation. When you drop the vowel that is in a word for the other one to take preeminence. The formula is N apostrophe the noun, because the next word, the following word must be a noun. Okay? Obi na Uchenna, where they are conjuncting, where they are working together, two persons. Chinwe, ndewo, odoziaku Chinwe, daalụ. Mmadụ abụọ, two persons. Ihe abụọ, two things. So long as they are subjects in that sentence, when you are bringing na, they are coordinating. Thank you, Jaja. They are collaborating. You write na on its own, separate, without dropping anything. Okay? Then we come back to one of the most problematic. So here, the formula is simple, is on its own. Make sure the na is on its own, okay? Now, the formula for this, for us to know it, we need to know what is a function of na here. Gịnị ka na-arụ? It is working as the helper of a verb. Real Mrs. Ozo, kedu ndewo, you are welcome. Na-arụ ọrụ dịka onye na-enye aka. Ọ na-enyere ngwa aka. Ya mere anyị ji kpọọ ya enyemaka ngwa ma ọ bụ nyemaka ngwa. Okay? It is helping the verb. It is doing the function of a helper. That is why we say it is auxiliary. And anytime na is appearing as the auxiliary, it is going to be na plus the verb. And
we'll say connected with a hyphen.
If I want to simplify it, ability, I egosikwala na dịka preposition, but I'm going to, for your sake, repeat that. That's the first thing I go, sorry. N'ahịa, Usekwu has given you example. N'ahịa, that's what we wrote earlier. So that is going to be na plus a hyphen plus the verb. Okay? Okay. There's still one more thing to learn from here, which we're going to come on to now. Na plus the hyphen plus the verb, right? But this verb that was here, that you will see here, had to take a process first that will allow it to work with the does not. Does not mean in or on. Okay, na means all of them. Na is the only preposition in Igbo language. So when you say in, it is na. When you say on, it is na. Even though we change some of them, for instance, nime, it is still na. When you say under, it is na. So that is the beauty of that guy. The function in Igbo language is a closed set. Only her. Nania. Even if you want to say n'okpuru, which is under, n'elu, up, it is na. Okay? In all of them, na is functioning as a preposition. But what we are looking at is when that preposition, na, is coming in front of or is preceding a word, a noun that begins in a vowel. If that noun begins with a vowel, it is going to drop the a that is in na and take apostrophe. Right, and we've seen examples, right? So if I said ndina olo, no, it's not fine because na there is working as a preposition. So the a in na will have to drop and you will assume an apostrophe. Okay? And the first thing you wrote is not correct because we have been dealing with that here as well. You must write the pronouns separate, and you have been corrected there by Usekufu's n'ụlọ, which is I am at home. Okay, it's better to use no and not de. De here means is applied or applicable to a thing and not a person. Okay, right. Nọ n'ụlọ maọbụ anọ n'ụlọ. All right, so you have to put the apostrophe. All right, I'm going to go back and clean here because I'm making a very economical use of my board, and then I will show us something. Ile anya na ngwa. If you look at the verb here, we're looking at the verb ga, which is go. Okay, go. And for this one, Obi goes to the market. Obi na ga ahịa. For the na to really get connected to the verb will have to first of all take a prefix. And that will give us aga. Aga, which is going or goes. So that is the first structural change that will happen. The first structural change will be the verb will take a prefix. Oge were nganiru. Okay? Then it will be ready to accommodate na. Na aga, it will now be goes. Is going. Question. Goes and is going. Okay. Right. Ihe anyị hụgoro ebe a dịka anyị na-ele anya ihe ndị anyị na-eme as we are approaching towards the closing of today's class. We have seen that in a very simple sentence like the example we have given, we can get 2, 3, or 4 functions depending on the words that make up the sentence and how they are positioned. Now, for the examples we gave, it borders on na. But we also touched the example of showing how the pronoun must be written first, and which is writing it separately. And this, again, we decided to discuss in another way than what we have been talking about since the beginning of this class. Okay? And I'm going to go back to something that is also very basic and elementary, as we will be closing with that. So, mgbe anyị kwuru okwu na ahịrịokwu bụ ahịrị mfe, when we say that a sentence is a simple one, we explain this, right? I kọwara ihe ọ bụ. It has a subject, a finite verb, and a complete sentence, a complete sense in it, right? O nwere nghọta zuru oke. All right? Nefertiti, how are you? Kedu. I think I do see that name on X more than on TikTok. You're welcome. All right. So that sentence, ahịrị mfe ahụ ga-abụrụ nke nghọta ya zuru oke. Okay? And that means that we don't need anything else to make it a complete sense. The words that are in that sentence are enough. And those words can be definable. They are definable. We can say, nke a bụ aha obi maọbụ nnọchi aha o maọbụ ọ. Nke a bụ ngwa gara. Nke a bụ aha ọzọ nke nọ na nnara, which is ahịa. The subject, the action, and the thing or person that received the action of the subject. That is the complete sense. Yanwa ka anyị na-amụ na ahịrịokwu ọbụla, right? But sometimes, not all simple sentences are very simple to understand, depending on the components of the word. So, as a learner of Igbo language, opening your head, your brain, your sense of understanding to pick up when a sentence has changed is something that you have to look out to, and it requires intervention. Ọ bụ ihe ị ga-eji uche gị niile wee mee. For those of you learning, your problem is not Abechi Igbo. Even if you did not really learn Abechi, but you know that you have not learned that, it does not stop you from learning how a simple Igbo sentence works. The challenge we have is that when that simple sentence is being misrepresented. Ndewo ekwi, ndewo o. Ana m eche na ekwi bụ equitus. Ọ bụrụ equitus mee ka anyị mara. No. Yes. Ebe a ị nọ bụ ebe anyị na-amụ Igbo. You're in the right place. Okay. And we write ndewo as nindi a-a-w-o. That is with 2 E's. Okay. All right. A abo. Cecilia Ando, you are welcome. Cecilia, you are welcome. Right. So you have to open your head consciously to understand when that change has occurred of that simple sentence, but then to also understand how it is represented. For those that speak, ndị na-asụ asụ, ndị na-asụ Igbo, ọrụ anyị bụ how to represent that sentence or that structure correctly. But the problem we are fighting in this class, in this project, Igbo Literacy Project brought to you by Omenka app, the problem we are fighting is we are seeing lots and lots of misrepresentation of Igbo online, on social media. Ndị agụụ na-agụ ịsụ na ide Igbo, mana ha na-edejọ ya edejọ. People who have hunger and thirst to write and speak Igbo, but they write it wrongly because they did not acquire well for whatever reason. Now, we have a huge problem dealing with that. Right. Ekwi nke bụ nwa afọ Igbo, Equitus. Ọ na-akọwa na m nwetara aha ya, Equitusila, nke ọ pụtara. But ihe ekwi dere ugbu a, o deteghị ya. It's also the kind of thing we're dealing. I have dedicated one class just allowing people to write, and we deal with each thing a person wrote. And I think I'm going to do such a class again. Allow you all to write and we'll make a correction of it. The problem, thank you, Sally. The problem is that if we learn by picking on words and correcting them, it doesn't give us a basis. So Ekwi, Useku Foods has helped you to rewrite or correct what you wrote. I would appreciate it if you can write it well by yourself as well. Because when you do, you have learned for that day. Ndewo. Dalo Bantu. Bantu, remind me your name. What's your name again? Not Chidemma. Okay. Right. So when we are not able to represent that sentence, that structure well, it now creates confusion. And I want to say this. There's a lot of confusion happening to Igbo language online already. Some of them are coming from people who speak Igbo fluently, but they speak their dialect. And this happens more with Anambra dialect. They speak their dialect and they did not learn standard Igbo. So sometimes you see them write that dialect on literature or online. Now the problem is your dialect is your dialect. Thank you, Mr. Albert Ndewo. Yeah, Mary. I got my chief Mary again. Thank you. I got my chief girls on Mary. Oh, right. So those that learned only their dialects, try to speak it only. Nwada Amarachi Ndewo or Queen Amarachi, ana m ekele gị. Imeela wee sonyere anyị na ihe ọmụmụ nke ụbọchị taa. We welcome you. So the class is targeted at young Igbo people who are growing up outside of Igbo land, who are learning to get connected back to their cultural identity through the language. Thank you, Ms. Albert. So now when you are presenting your dialect in a written form to other people who don't speak your dialect, you are creating a confusion for them. Ami best, Dalo, how are you, Kedo? But you can write the standard form and everybody will understand. But if you write your dialect, you are creating a challenge for other Igbo speakers who don't speak your dialect. Your dialect is meant to be spoken to your kinsmen, your people, people from your own dialectal enclave. Igbo language supports what we call mutual intelligibility, which is the ability of the Igbo speaker to speak the variety of Igbo that will enable virtually all Igbo speakers from different dialects to understand. That mutual intelligibility is seen in the standard Igbo, in the official form, or central Igbo in the colloquial form. And that is why we speak and teach the standard Igbo here. That is why some of you have come and said, which Igbo is this? It is not that your dialect, it is the standard form, how it is written, and it's supposed to be written in literature. And we do this every Monday. Ndewo Kalista Onoha. Nwakego, right? Nwakego. Ndewo ana mekele gị. Ọ dị mma na isonyere anyị n'ihe ọmụmụ nke ụbọchị taa. Anyị na-anọ ebe a ụbọchị Mọnde niile, elekere anya mbụ nke ọwụwa anyanwụ Amerịka ma ọ bụ elekere anya isii nke oge Nigeria. And when we come, we encourage us to encourage one another, to learn with one another, but most importantly, to encourage this class by helping the algorithm to improve. Please, it's required you tap on the screen for us. It's required that you share with your contacts. It's required, is expected rather, that you share with your contact and let them know that we have such a rich resource that everybody can hinge upon and learn Igbo. And I will touch on the issue of going extra mile. I do say, like I told my team this morning when I was having a meeting with them, otu ihe mere anyị ji mụta okwu Chineke in Christianity, and so many of us are good at it. So many of us are pastors and all of that. It's because when we were born, we were introduced into this ideology, and every day we were encouraged to learn one thing or the other from the Word of God, right? But the problem with that is the concept of that religious ideology is something that was introduced to us by foreign powers that took advantage of us for 400 years. And within those 400 years, they depleted us. They stripped us of all cultural identities, all cultural integrity, all cultural reputations by imposing the foreign cultures on us. So virtually all of us that are in this class, I will say, grew up. We are born into it and we grew up into it. We have spent much of our childhood and adult life learning how to live, how to adapt, how to become who we were not meant to be. primarily. Now, for us to walk back and achieve the initial thoughts, the reason for which we were made, you find out that it will take us a huge step to make. That is also why I do not get any more guilt when I'm here sharing our language in English, because I'm addressing our people, my people, who I should have addressed in our language, but in another language that they understand more, to get us all back to go to the original identity that we are supposed to have. That cannot happen without us being, at least to a large extent, fluent speakers of our language. And I close with, I'm going to be making a video that will mostly be on YouTube. If you have not followed us on YouTube, our YouTube account, our Facebook account is Omenka app, and do try to follow us. I did a series last week. I was talking about the women's role in the preservation of Igbo language and culture. If you have not seen that series, especially if you are a woman, you are interested, please go check it out. It's a 7-day video and it's still growing. People are still looking at it. And I'm going to be talking on there's a recent video that showed up on social media where a known scholar and bishop talked about the concept of Oji anaghị anụ oyibo maọbụ Oji anaghị anụ bekee. Naanị Igbo ka Oji na-anụ. Ị bụrụ nwa afọ Igbo, ị maara the concept of Oji, ị maara ihe Oji pụtara. You will believe me that Oji is one of the most protected Igbo cultures that is still remaining. It is one of the most revered Igbo cultures that we still globally uphold and believe in. It was unconscionable for a person of the position of the bishop to want to oppose the idea behind Oji anaghị anụ oyibo, which was rather a phenomenal thing that has so helped to protect and preserve the concept of Oji. Around the world, Igbo people are still the only people that value Oji the way we do. And ndị nna nna anyị ha, our ancestors were so smart and wise enough to prescribe, to say that Oji anaghị anụ oyibo, because they don't want to. Of course, it has been a age-long saying. Any cultural piece that is being preserved for a long time, watch it. That cultural piece still is being practiced in the original language. So some people are going to the point of wanting us to now begin to break kola nut in English. That is what that means. Because so many of us who now live overseas, who no longer knows the culture of even Oji, when you see an elderly person, give them kola nut, they don't know what to do with it. They end up wanting to speak English, to run away from knowing and following the precedents. Now, these are the ones that are wanting, they are wishing that Oji would understand English. But Oji does not. And the reason is because, and will not, my brother, and will not. It does not have anything to do with Oyibo, of course. The reason is because When you hold the orji, when an elder holds the orji, ndị Igbo sị okenye jide ọjị kwa ụkwara gịnị na-eme? Ndị mmụọ aṅaa ntị. The elders, when they hold the kola nut, the ancestors will listen. As soon as they do, they clear their throat. Why? You, at that moment, will be performing a ritual that cannot be addressed to any other person but the ancestors, those who lived here before us. Okay? And I asked my team members today, like, do you know how many times in the Bible, I'm doing a research on this, that a person dies and they say he went to be with the ancestors? But there's hardly any time a person dies and they say he went to heaven, except 2 occasions that they told us. But do you know that it's almost not said in Igbo land amongst people who are Christians that a person went to be with ancestors? But that is the original way it was made. When you finish your work here, you join the ancestors and become one of them. So when you are now there and somebody here brings kola nut and clears the throat, you will be listening. And you don't expect to hear him speak English. And this was manifested in another way in the video that trended on YouTube, where some young Igbo people went to Edo State to tell their Oba that he should accept them in Edo, in Benin, that they are Igbo. And those young people came from Ikwere. If you have not seen the video, look for it on YouTube. So the drama that played out was that they spoke to the Oba in English. The Oba responded to them in English. The Oba could not speak their language to them because they would not understand. When the Oba spoke his language, he spoke to the people who are really called Benin people. When he wants to speak to these young people kneeling before him, he spoke in English. What a tragedy. What a tragic contradiction. The reason is no king ever addressed his subjects in a foreign language. But it is playing out now that people are denying their Igbo identity. And that is what is going on with these young people who ran to Benin to kneel before the Oba to say, we are Benin, we know we come from Benin. But they speak Igbo. And then the Oba could not address them in any Benin language. He spoke English to them. What we are saying is, if you are here and you are either joining this class for the first time, this is Igbo Literacy Project, or you have been here a couple of times, you have a lot of work to do in reinculturating yourself or inculturating yourself to Igbo. If you are an Igbo born, but you are living overseas or outside of Igbo land, your parents did not do the job well, now it is your turn. Do not allow your ancestral lineage to be cut off in your own time because you did not get the full inculturation of the language. We hold this class for you. And obi dị anyị ụtọ ọtụtụ n'ime unu ndị na-abịa na ndị bịakwara n'ụbọchị taa. In the next class on Monday, we are going to look at the remaining parts of the simple sentence, and then we go into a complex sentence in Igbo. But I will continue to go back and forth when I see simple questions questions that will take us back to the simple, sentences to explain. And if you do not have Omenka app, please download it before the end of today. Subscribe. Those of you that do not know our YouTube channel is Omenka app. Subscribe and follow us. We have other teachings that we do there that are not live. I only come live on Sundays and Mondays. The rest of the days we do teachings and we produce the videos. They are more than 10 minutes, so they go to our YouTube channel and then our Facebook. So if you know anything and anybody that has the skill to work with us in Omenka app to improve on the work we're doing there, you're welcome. The app is about the preservation of Igbo language. Simple. That's the only focus we have, the preservation of Igbo language so that Igbo will not die. So we are documenting it. Thank you. It was nice learning with you today, and I will see you in the next week. I thank all of you. Bye. Nah, no be small.
You wear okay, see your water jar.
No be small. My